Hey, what's up? I'm Norris and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a sew along for my latest Know Me pattern design, which is ME2086. And today we'll be doing view A, the non-contrasting version of the retro jersey. Now, if you're new to sewing or just need to brush up on your skills a bit, go to sewedacademy.com, take advantage of our free trial, then come back and then sew along with me. Okay, so once again, like I said, we'll be doing my latest Know Me pattern, which is ME2086, and we'll be doing view A. View B is only the contrasting element to it, and then also there's a patch top stitching piece that you can like put your name on if you have like a Cricut or something. So you'll see that right here in the details. Okay, view B, you see the little patch pocket right there. So that's the only difference. And as you can see, they're both the same exact design, and one is just solid and one is contrasting, and you can contrast it however you want. On the back, always remember you have your suggested fabrics at the top. You have your sizes, chest, waist, and also hips. You can line that up. And then don't forget at the bottom you have your finished garment measurements. And this is the exact measurements it will be if you sew it in that particular size. So you'll know what kind of adjustments to make. All right, so let's go through all the pattern pieces that we'll need for this pattern. So we have pattern piece number 3. This is the yoke front. You'll need to cut 2 out of your fabric. And if you're doing view B, you'll just cut 2 out of contrasting fabric. Pattern piece number 4, this is the back yoke. You want to cut 1 on the fold. And if you're doing contrasting, you can cut 1 on the fold of your contrasting fabric. And as you can see right here, this is that placement for that patch top stitching, okay? Pattern piece number 2, now this is the back. You want to cut 1 on the fold. Pattern piece number 1, now this is the front. You want to cut 1 on the fold, and the fold is right here. Okay, so this is pattern piece number 5. This is the sleeve. You want to cut 2 out of your fabric. And if you're doing contrasting, you can cut 2 of your contrasting fabric. And then last but not least, we have pattern piece number 6. This is the neckband. And you have 2 options. You can cut it out of your regular fabric, or you can cut it out of your contrasting fabric. And the fold is right here. And don't forget all of your markings and notches that you'll need later on. Now, once you cut all of your pattern pieces out of your fabric, we can begin sewing. Okay, so first things first, you want to grab your back yoke. Now, if you're doing the view B with the patch top stitching that goes on the back, now is the time to do that. You'll just do the seam allowance and then put it in your placement and edge stitch it. But I'm not doing that version. I'm just doing just a regular view A. So we're right sides facing. You want to grab your front yokes and lay them on top of each other, and there should be a notch, and you want to pin at the shoulders. Okay, now let's head to the machine. We're going to stitch across the shoulders using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so I'm back from the machine. I went ahead and cleaned my seams with a serge, and I pressed the seam towards the back. And now you can see the front of it kind of shaping. So you want to go ahead and grab your rib knit, your neckband, and then you want to fold it, making sure that the dots are aligning, wrong sides facing, okay? Wrong sides facing. And then now I'm going to turn the neckband with the right side up, and then we're going to go ahead and align the notches, and we're going to pin. And then this second notch should be right there where the shoulder seam is. Okay, now that we have it pinned, you want to make sure that you do have that little triangle sticking out from that corner, because when we stitch 5/8 of an inch, we're going to be like right here. And we want to make sure we have that little peak sticking out on both sides, okay? Just like that. Now let's head to the machine. We're going to stitch all the way across using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Some parts of the band is going to be a little bigger, so you'll have to pull and stretch it out. Okay, so we're back from the machine. As you can see, I went ahead and did a serge on the bottom, and then I pressed that seam towards the yokes. And then I did a 1/4 inch top stitching around the neckline, but on the facing side, not on the band because it's pressed down. All right, so you want to do that same exact thing. Okay, next we're going to take our bands and overlap them like this. And there should be a marking too, so you can make sure that you put them in the exact same place. And you should be taking your left, which is the right here, and put it over your right side, which is on the left here. So just like this. All right. Now just head to the machine and just go tack this down, and we're going to put our front piece onto this one. Okay, as you can see right here, we based down the center of that neckline to get that V. And now what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna turn it upside down with the right side facing up. And then we're gonna take the front, and then we're gonna align it up, and there should be one notch in the front. So you wanna go ahead and align those notches and start pinning. Okay, so now we're just gonna head to the machine and stitch all the way across using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so we're back from the machine. As you can see, I attached the front to the front yoke, and then we pressed that seam down after I cleaned it with a nice serge. And then we went ahead and top stitched a 1/4 inch away from that seam, but on the front side, on the bottom, the same way we did the neckline. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do the back the same exact way. So grab your back piece, and the back piece should have a double notch. So go ahead and line those double notches and continue pinning. Okay, now head to the machine and stitch across using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance, the same exact way we did the front. You can clean your seams off after that, and then press it down and then top stitch a 1/4 inch away from your seam. Okay, so do all that, come back, and we'll continue. Okay, so we're back from the machine. As you can see, we have our front and back connected. Then now we're just gonna move along to our sleeve. Now, I have it to the side here. There's a double notch for the back and one notch for the front. So you want to grab the one that aligns with that, and we're going to pin. Align the notches first, and then there's a dot that matches up with the dot here. And I know it's kind of hard to mark this type of material, but you can do a notch or try to put a dot, because we're going to start and stop at the dot. We're not going to go all the way to the end. Okay, so let's head to the machine. We're going to start at the dot, go all the way till we get to the other dot using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so I'm back from the machine. We went ahead and stitched from dot to dot, and then I pressed the seam allowance towards the sleeve, and then I top stitch. Now I top stitch starting at my dot, so I could still have that 5/8 of an inch that's supposed to be left right here for the side seam to catch. So you want to just top stitch starting at the dot and going all the way up to the other dot the same exact way. And I did clean that seam off with a serge, but once again, I only started right where that dot, that marking was, and I just serged it to the other marking, and I just came out without serging all this together. Okay, so now you want to pin, sew, and top stitch your other sleeve the same exact way, and then we'll start on our side seams. Okay, so we're back from the machine. As you can see, we have both our sleeves attached, and now we're just going to turn everything right sides facing with the wrong side out, and we're just going to focus on one side. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first, there should be a notch on that side seams. You want to go ahead and pin there first, Okay, so right there at that dot where we stopped at with the sleeve, we're going to pin there, but we're not going to catch the seam allowance for the sleeve. We're only going to focus on that side seam first. Okay, so while we're here, let's go ahead and pin the undersleeve. Okay, so let's head to the machine. We're going to start at the side seam and go down to the hem, and then we're going to start back at the undersleeve and go down to the sleeve hem. Okay, as you can see, we have that seam allowance of the sleeve out the way, and we're only going to focus on that side seam starting where that stitch stopped. Okay, so now we're going to come back and we're going to do the seam allowance on the sleeve. Okay, so now I left the seam allowance sticking out, and we're just going to finish the seam allowance on the sleeve. Now you can head to your serger or whatever you're using to finish off your seams. Okay, so we're back from the machine. We closed out our side seam, as you can see here. And then you could just press that seam to the back, and then you want to do the other side seam and under seam the same exact way for your sleeve. So once you do that, only thing left to do is the hem of your sleeve, which is 1 1/4 inches, and then also the hem of the entire jersey, and that's 1 1/4 inches as well. And then once you do all of that, you're all done. Okay, you're all done. Congratulations. I hope you enjoyed this course. Be sure to tag me on all your posts on socials at Norris and I will see you in the next sew along.